Okay, so this is a guide towards developing your page in relation to the competency 12. So open up your portfolio. Here's an example I've created earlier just to give you an idea. I combine different artifacts from the course, from my engagements, explaining how they connect to the idea of creating learning conditions. Here's the article that I summarized and I've embedded, and then my summary is next door to it, and then below that I have other sources such as the video that relates to the idea of adaptation in games, and then resources that I feel have really contributed to my ability to teach games. At the bottom of the page, this will be done later, you will actually give yourself a self-assessment based on a rubric, based on the competency, but this won't be done in this first submission. Purely this is to get you going. So based on the folio page, you select artifacts to upload. So here's the outline that you will see when you log into your page. And you can edit it by clicking on the pencil. And then these are placeholders that are suggesting the types of artifacts you might put in. You can add more placeholders, but it's sort of the minimum requirement is what I've indicated here. And then in a folder, I've collected together things I think I can put on this page, and I've put them all in a folder on my desktop ready to upload, in this case to Google Drive, so I can use that as the sort of memory for my artifacts to put into Folioz. So here I'm opening up my Google site. Here's my Folioz page, and as you see I've got from my desktop, I just drag and drop those into my Folioz folder ready to put into my page on my Folioz account. Here they all are. The key thing to note here is when I share this folder, emphasizing this, I share it so that anyone the link can view. This is very important, otherwise it won't be seen, and then it's done. And it shows up here that it's shared outside. Anything I connect will be seen. So editing my placeholder, here's what we do. Once we've got the idea, get in, we click on the pencil on the right hand side, and that opens up the placeholders now to edit. When I click on the pencil on each of the placeholders, it gives me these four options: text, external media, image, or Google app. And these are the things that I will probably need just to use this page. There are other options, but this is all I need. I also have put in a guide to show you from 352 how to build your portfolio, more as a revision. For some of you, this may be first time. You can go to these guides, they're step by step, and also how to write the reflection. Again, that will happen near the end of the course, but they're all there ready for you to use. And so now if you go back to your page, and I want to add something from the forum discussion on learning, I can go to any one of mine that I've been involved in, and I can actually then just copy that particular entry, as I've done here when I respond to Macy, right? And once I copy it, I just take it into my Folioz page, hit the pen, hit the placeholder where I want to put it, choose text box in this case, and then I can just paste it in. There it is, it's done. Give it a heading, and once I save it, now I have that ready to show. And if I don't want it to show the whole text, I can, if I want to, change it to automatically retract, so it just appears like a button. And so that therefore is my first little piece of evidence that I would refer to on my page in my overview on how I'm understanding learning. Here's how I put in my external article that I refer to and summarize, and I needed to put it in here, so I go into my Google folder, find that particular article, and I just do a couple of steps to make it show. So I go through preview so I can see it here, and then I go to three dots and I open up a new window so that it will project into Folioz. And on three dots, I copy what's called the embed code, and that means that I can now embed it, and it will always show on Folioz drawing on Google Drive. Copy that embed code, go back into my Folioz, and then that space I left behind, I just paste that in and go save. And now you can see it embeds beautifully here. I can click on it to make it big. And if I don't like the size, I just adjust the height. In this case, I'm dropping it from 500 to 300. There it is. And now it's on my page, ready to show and to move around. And as an artifact, it's evidence of my learning, and my discussion forum next to it can relate to that really well. If I want to, I can download it. Adding a text box. So this means that I can put text boxes anywhere on the screen just to clarify what I'm explaining, what's the artifacts, give a flow to the page. So I just click on text box. This creates a little box for me. I can give it a heading. that can become a heading for a section, or it can be a heading for me explaining something, and in this case the overview for the page. And I just copy and paste that in as I've already created it in Word, and there it appears. And then I can adjust the size of that and move it around, adjusting just like I was making a magazine where I want bits to go in the flow of the page. So now I can make headings, I can add Word files, I can add image files, all again from Google Drive. So in this case, my placeholder, I wanted to move things around a little bit, so I edit, give a heading, because I'm going to put something here about how learning starts with being in a game. Here I'm thinking about, I want to put some type of evidence, so I'm going to go to Google Docs. This is going to be what I'm going to put in. I give that a heading. And then I want to put an example of the model. So in fact, I can go now, here's a picture of the model and the one that Elijah talked about, the updated version. Again, open up embed code, copy that embed code, and then when I take that over to my Google Folioz here, I can paste in my Google embed code, and there it appears on the page. And again, like I did before, I can adjust the size so it looks nice based on the size I want to have on my page. So as I'm building these artifacts, I'm thinking about how I'm arranging them on the page so I can explain it effectively. Here I'm going to put in my framework I created for tennis. Same procedure, preview, go to 3 dots, go open a new window, 3 dots so it projects, embed code, copy embed code, and then I can just put that in to my placeholder on Folioz, and that gives me the effect of having that on my page, that I can also explain how that helps me plan with the idea of tactical problems and school-based solutions to those tactical problems. So all these things are contributing to my understanding of how I create conditions for students' learning. And that's what it looks like on the page so far as I'm building these artifacts. The key is the artifacts, but then a flow with text boxes to explain what each of them mean and how they contribute to your understanding. It's like a very good paper, but in a more interesting magazine style format. And as you can see here, I can actually explain things on my framework, and I put my text in there, and then my explanation can go next to the framework, right? Move it on the page, just like that. So now I can now reassign that size-wise, so it fits in, and it creates a nice look that I can develop. So now my page is already starting to develop. As you can see, if I wanted to give it a little bit of pizzazz, I might want to add a skin. And so a skin is sort of background, so it doesn't look so plain. So to do that, I have to go into my skins in my account and favor some that I want to use. And by favoring, I just click on the heart. You can see the ones I've selected in the past. I can go through, and the ones I might use, I just click. And then once I've done the favoring, when I go back to my page, I basically can open up any page. And here's one I've done previously. I can click on the pen and go to the settings and select skin, and then the skin allows me to change to whatever one I want based on just selecting it. So I click on it. Once I click on it, that becomes my background. So here's this nice blue sort of pattern that I quite liked. So I saved that one, and then when I click on preview, my page has this nice background look to it that adds to the aesthetics. I can also shape the page by adding in different placeholders in different locations on the page, or I can move them around. And so as I add things, I just basically set it up. Here I'm just creating a placeholder that's a text box just as a break, right? And so basically by doing that, it can actually help to format the page a bit better so that things don't look out, a bit like a table in Word. And so that allows me just to tidy up the page. And I can also add in things like my Google Slides or YouTube, and that can be done quite simply, similar as we've done before. When I click on the resource, in this case inside Google Drive, I just get the sharing link for that task card. When I click on it, I copy the sharing link, and at the top right side, that's it. And when I copy it, paste that in, and what you'll see is my task card is embedded nicely on the page that I can then refer to as evidence of something that may be used with students, right? Develop their learning. Bit of fun. Starting to look cool. And then once that's set up, I'm ready to reflect on it at the end of the course. And here's another one I've done. You can see the look I have is quite effective at bringing together lots of information around ideas that are supporting my emerging effective practice based on different learning theories. Thank you very much for listening. See you next week.